Tamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verses 11 to 20.
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम् ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानम् विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदम् यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्दधाना मत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः
We have been studying the 35 qualities of the Bhakta. We were last time, excuse me, on the 29th quality, which is Tulya Ninda Stuti. Same in praise and censure. Now, as a human being, as social beings, we are very, very concerned about what people say about us, because we live as part of the pack. We are a social animal. We live as part of the pack. So then it becomes important what people of the pack, or what our little pack says about us. Now, up to that point, it's fine. The problem starts occurring when we lose our discrimination because of this need for being a member of the pack. That is how millions and millions of human beings have been killed through history, because we want to be part of the pack. There's some research that was done that shows us that people are more likely to commit crime or unethical behavior or something if they are part of a group. They're more likely to do it. And all this has obviously come to the forefront now because of this Bank of Baroda thing. But this is where the problem lies. We are affected by it so much that our actions go wrong. And this we cannot allow to happen. Now, when will we not do this? When we have our own version of life, right? When we have our own assessment of things, when our intellect works, when I know what I'm doing or not doing, it doesn't matter what people will say. Some people obviously will praise you for what you're doing. Some people will condemn you for what you're doing. And what we people need the most, they will praise us a lot and do nothing to support us. This is the nature of this world. Now, based on this facet alone, should any decision be taken? Obviously not, right? So, okay, being interested in the good opinion of your of your crowd, of your community, is a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. There is a there's a very famous saint in Maharashtra. I don't know if you all have heard of him, Swami Ramdas. Have you all heard of Swami Ramdas? Hmm? Nine, have you heard of Swami Ramdas? He has written this, his most
Shivaji's
famous.
Guru.
Huh?
Was it Shivaji's Guru?
Yes, Shivaji's Guru, correct. Shivaji's Guru means what? He met him a couple of times, but he was such a, but he isn't, yeah, he was so overwhelmed and so, got so much good advice from him. But he was, he wrote a very famous, he's written many famous books, but the most popular amongst them is a very nice sort of grantha or whatever, I don't know how you say that, book called Manache Shlok. Manache Shlok means verses for the mind, or verses to the mind. So basically he's just talking to himself, like notes to himself sort of thing, And he talks over there about many, many things. Very famous things. Sometimes I quote them also. Today's thing is, which my mother used to always quote to me, is Marave parikirti rupe zagave. That you should die, but live by kirti. Kirti means your good name. It doesn't matter whether, in other words, it doesn't matter whether you die or live, but your good name should live. In other words, people should speak well of you. Now, when you are a conscious human being, it matters to you what people say about you. This kind of thing should keep us on the right path. That is why they use the word kirti. Today, it's fame at any cost. If I'm famous for being married 27 times, then well, that's great. If I'm famous for, fighting with my family and showing it on television, then that's great. This is not what he's talking about. Even in the Gita, in the first chapter, he says that you will lose your kirti, you will lose your fame. It means you lose the good opinion of your fellow beings. Even Shakespeare has this concept, that he who filches of me my good name. Remember the quote? He who filches of me my good name does not enrich himself, but makes me poor indeed. If you take my purse, it's okay. But if you take away from me my good name, then you've taken something that did not make you rich, but made me poor indeed. So having the love, the wanting kirti is a good thing, good members of our society. Yeah, Bharat will always tell us from the beginning, he who steals my purse steals trash. He begins like that. He who steals my purse steals trash. But he that filches from me my good name robs me of that which not enriches him, but makes me poor indeed. Right? So whether it is Indian, Western, whatever, people keep making this difference, Indian, Western, and he says the same thing, that we should have the good opinion of our people. Thank you, Bharat. We should have the good opinion of our people. Now, Yuri seems to be saying just the opposite. So basically what it means is that at different levels of our personality, different things will inspire us. When we care about the good opinion of our fellow beings, then we should use that to live up to a life of character. Like, I would like you to respect me because I'm respect-worthy. This is different from, when you look at these, Joyce, you don't know, but in India, we have this thing called, what is it? Bombay Times. or page 3, something like that, the equivalent of page 3. So it's all like about what
मिठाई कोई लाई थी?
Sorry.
फ्रिज में रखी है.
किस अभी कौन सी मिठाई है?
फ्रिज में रखी है. उसके हस्बैंड का बर्थडे.
Whatever is kept in the fridge, we can just maintain it there instead of bringing it to the class, please. Okay. So wherever we are, Bombay Times. What do people write over there? Like, something happened. So and so is getting married to so and so. So and so is getting divorced from so and so. So and so is having a baby. Somebody is showing off their baby bump. But मैं क्या करूं? Everybody has a baby. What is that to show off in your baby bump? So that's not Kirti. Kirti is us remembering P.V. Narasimha Rao. He opened out the Indian economy, and a lot of prosperity rushed into our country because of that. That's called Kirti, done us some good. Or, Nandan Nilekani, he got this whole Aadhaar thing done. Or J.R.D. Tata. They set up industries without which this country would not be where it is today. This is called Kirti. So as long as it matters to us, we should live up to it. But as we grow in life, you should not do wrong things and say, I don't care what anyone says. Then you please do care what someone says. But once you have transversed that much, then it occurs to us eventually that my respectworthiness is not derived from what people say. And you understand this when you grow higher than everybody else. Their opinion doesn't matter because they are too young to know what they are talking about. Please, it is not arrogance. Don't misunderstand it. It's not an arrogance. It is a recognition of the fact that the other person has no idea what they're talking about. When they praise you and when they criticize you, it means nothing. Because they themselves don't know what they're talking about. Now, the way to understand this is to see our own experiences. When a little child praises you, suppose a little child goes to Deepraj and says, Deepraj Bhaiya, you are so good at mathematics. Why did she say that? Because he multiplied 15 by 10. So she's so impressed. You can do 15 times 10. Great at mathematics. Now, is Deepraj going to say, oh, see, raise his collar and say, oh, look at me, I'm so smart? Suppose that same child goes to Deepraj and says, Deepraj Bhaiya, I don't think you're very good at mathematics. Now will he feel depressed? And why is she saying that he's not good at mathematics? Because her teacher told her that the way you add 4 plus 1 is you do 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1 plus 1. And now it is 5. And that's the right way to do it. But when she told Deepraj, he said 5. No, Deepraj Bhaiya, you're wrong. You have to go like this, like this, like this, like this. Now, is he going to go into depression saying that, oh my God, I didn't get that method right? Right? So as soon as you grow up from someone, you realize they don't know what they're talking about. You understand that they don't understand. And therefore, their opinion does not count anymore. But when we are at the same level, then their opinion does count. And if it counts, then we must look to be respect-worthy. Somebody that is worth being called human by our fellow humans. Okay, so it's very important in philosophy not to mix levels. When it's important, accept it's important and do the right thing. Until you grow out and you realize that it really didn't matter what anyone said. When these, I'm so bad with names, so there was this gentleman here in Maharashtra who started saying that there should be widow remarriage and the widows and the young girl should be educated. And when he said this in the society, they ostracized him. They threw him out. Can you believe being ostracized for saying that girls should be educated and that there should be widow remarriage? Widow remarriage means there'll be like a 5-year-old girl who happened to be married in her cradle. She's never seen that person. She has no idea what marriage is. That person, because mortality was so high, died. And at the age of 5, they would shave off her hair, not let her play with toys, and treat her really cruelly as a widow. Yes, now we say that. But at that time, when that man stopped people from doing it, he was ostracized. Bindya, I think you are. Bindya, I'm not sure everybody wants to hear about the food situation at your what is this? Hello, Bindya. Okay, so is that clear? When it's important, we should have kirti. And when you realize that it doesn't matter what anyone says, then you've grown up. So much is clear. Now, Aditi. There is a thin line between concerned about good name and what others think of you. Please throw light on the difference. It's the same thing, Aditi. What others think of you is the same. There's no difference. But the point here is when you care, we can't be hypocritical, right? We can't say, I don't care. But when you do care, right? So if you do care, then live up to having a good name, right? Because many people do not do unethical behavior or perform ethical actions because they don't want their name spoiled, which is good. Because they care, they should do. Even Krishna tells Arjuna, if you behave like this, you lose kirti. These are his words in chapter 2. So it's a good thing up to that point. But when you care for it in such a way that you become, what should I say, helpless in front of the opinion of the pack, that you start doing wrong action, that's where you draw the line. Okay, so if you care, live up to being respectful. And do not get carried away if they're making you do something wrong. Okay? And if we live like this, eventually we grow up to a position where we realize that it doesn't matter one way or the other. It's like now we're putting up a Vedanta University. Some people say, oh, so wonderful. Some people say, why are you doing that? Neither those who say wonderful nor the ones who say, why are you doing that? know what they're talking about. So are we going to stop doing what we're doing? I mean, it's not like somebody has studied the problem, studied the situation, understands the whole ramifications, and therefore has an opinion. It's just random opinions. Aaj ye bol rahe hain, kal kuch aur bolenge. Okay? So then it doesn't matter. Because you understand that people don't understand. But when it does affect, like for instance, I don't know, now one day maybe Aditi, suppose you start taking class and on the road somebody irritates you. Then you will stop, and think, I can't say this to this person. They will say, वेदांता क्लास लेती है और रोड पे झगड़ा करती है. You think like that, right? So therefore, that is to some extent, it's making you do right action, and therefore that much is fine. But when it makes you do wrong action, then you draw the line. Okay? To whom censure and praise are equal. That is a state for us to grow up to. To him, censure and praise is equal because he knows what he's doing and he knows that nobody else knows what he's doing. He understands this. So it's amusing what people have to say on the matter to him. Just like Deepraj will be amused when the babies tell him whether he knows mathematics or not. You know he's doing PhD in mathematics, no? Now what does it matter to him? Even if we tell him, Deepraj, you're good at mathematics, what does he care? He knows we don't understand. All he has to do is turn around and say, okay, multiply 47 by 53. And we're all gone immediately. So it makes no sense. Then silent. Mauni. Mauni means you understand the hollowness of it all. You understand the hollowness of it all means you understand that whether I get it or I don't get it, I'm going to be in exactly the same position as I am right now. Get it means whatever it is in the world I want. Whether I wish to pass my exams, get a job, get married, make money, run a massive business, have a turnover of a certain amount, have my wife speak to me sweetly, whatever in the world you have decided you need. It is a great revelation to realize that whether it happens or it doesn't happen, I am going to be in exactly the same position. Just realizing that. And when you realize that what you need is a rehabilitation of the mind and intellect. Because as long as you live with this mind and intellect, this will be your experience no matter what. Because what is experiencing is the mind and intellect. So its quality will determine the experience. This mind and intellect has to be rehabilitated. It's like you're wearing glasses. The glasses are not right. They are colored. They're disfigured. Now, no matter how much you try to make a pretty picture, you can't because the glasses are disfigured. You're never going to see a pretty picture. But when the glasses turn out right, you have a chance of making a pretty picture. You can't see it. So, hollow, understanding that this whole thing is hollow. All these changes I'm trying to bring about, they are hollow in and of themselves. Do not understand that as I shouldn't take a job, I shouldn't get married, I shouldn't have children. That's not what it means. What it means is merely by doing that, my life experience is not going to change. That's what it means. So he's already understood this. Therefore, he's silent. He's silent. What is there to say? Oh, there is this, people are fighting on the street. That is a beautiful, remember that beautiful prayer, no? Prayer, what stotra? How do you translate stotra in English? The stotra of Adi Shankaracharya. You'll remember it? Guru Ashtakam. He talks about, you are the most educated person, you are the richest person, you have all family and friends, you have Desheshu Janya, Videsheshu Manya. You are well known in your country, you're well respected outside your country. Tatakim, 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 tatakim. Tatakim means so what? So what? I have, turnover of 40,000 crores. So what? I got Nobel Prize. So what? So what? So big deal. I have been declared as the best teacher in school. So what? My children are going to Harvard and Wharton. So what? What's the big deal? क्या तीर मारा है? Are you the only parent with children who are going to Wharton and Harvard? क्या तीर मारा है? What great thing have you accomplished? विदेशेषु मान्य स्वदेशेषु धन्य सदाचार वृत्तेषु मत्तो न चान्य. Sadachar, always good behaved. There is no other opinion on this. Everything about you is so great. He says, so what? So what? That feeling of so what is the silence within. There's no reaction. It's not like you're going around saying to everybody, so what? You're not making it's nothing to do with what your lips are doing. It's not like, so what you can't say. Genuinely, internally of you, there is no reaction. Because you have understood that it is follow one way or the other. A person who can do this is one who can be content with anything. It's two sides of a coin. You're content with anything because just like nothing wonderful excites you so much that you're all sort of lost your equilibrium or dejects you. It's two sides of a coin, right? As long as one is there, the other will be there. Has to be. Happiness, to be of any consequence, should be internally derived. Means I'm happy both ways. I'm happy means, this is all very difficult to understand if you don't get the idea. It doesn't mean, acha, my business went into loss, and I'm very happy. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean I've been a failure and I'm very happy. That's not what it means. What it's talking about is your happiness is derived from you constantly doing the right thing because it's the right thing to be done. It is not a sort of negligence. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care whether I lose. I don't care I lost my money. Pagal ho kya? How can you not care? Especially sometimes people will do really bad actions and you say, my God, why did you do that? Everybody will say, what have you done? To which they'll say, I don't care what anyone says. It's wrong. That's completely wrong. So it's very difficult teaching philosophy because our wonderful mind will use the wrong principle at the wrong time. Any principle, any time. Suppose you break something in your house and your mother says, Arey, how come you broke it? And then Nilanjan says, Mom, life is change. Everything changes. One day this had to break as well. For act, the mother will give someone nonsense. Everything has to change. So at the wrong time, you say the wrong thing. Wrong, means you're applying the wrong principle at the wrong time. What it means with content with anything is you are doing your very best. You know this. Now, whatever comes out of it, that's it. That's it. That's just it. You did all you could. You will try to do better. That's why Mahesh gets irritated with me all the time. Mahesh, what do you get maximum irritated with me all the time about? Poor fellow. 16 years he's been hanging out with me. And I've been driving him insane. You know what drives him insane? Every time we do something and we get settled in doing it that way will change. And his argument, constant argument, which you must have heard, all of you, if you've spoken to him even once, you'll have heard. But we don't do it like this. But we ourselves decided to do it like this. We can change it whenever we want. Have you all heard him say, but we don't do it like this. We can change it any time. Every time he settles down in doing it in a particular way, then again the whole thing changes. 16 years he's put up with this. That's why his hair has gone all white now. 16 years. How many years is that? 16, almost 20 years, no? He's been at it, poor fellow. Bharat, yes. Everybody's heard it. So, why do we keep changing? Because if you are applying yourself, you have to be able to think of a better way of doing this. And your contentment has to be derived that you are doing it better, not that something has come or not come. You are very concerned with something has come or not come because
that's how you make sure that you're doing your best.
Yeah, if you got the causal relationship right, how on earth can it not come? It has to come. It has no capacity not to come. It's like if you put your hand in the fire, the hand has to burn. If you say, no, I put my hand in the fire and it didn't burn, then excuse me, what you're considering fire is not fire. It was just a fake fire. Somebody else made some thermocol thing and kept over there. If you get causation right, that thing has to come. And if you can get causation so right, it's coming or not coming eventually doesn't matter. Just as if you're a very good student, have you noticed if you're a very good, very diligent student, you are really not interested in what marks you got, because you know you're going to come first in this. You answered everything correctly. Swamiji used to tell us of one of his friends that question paper would say solve any, they'd give you like 5 questions and they say solve any 3. He would solve all 5 in half the time allocated, and then he would write very arrogantly, correct any 3. And take your choice. He knows his subject so well. What does he bother about the all the rest of the students who go running to see what the marks are? He couldn't be bothered. He knows he's getting 100 on 100. He knows it so well. Right? So, content with anything means that, no? What happened? Means that
You've done all that you could do.
you've done all that you can do, and you will constantly improve. And that is where your contentment is deriving from. It's not deriving from what the result was. You notice the result because you're changing what you're doing. But your contentment is because you've just done everything you need to do. Homeless. Homeless is another great quality of a bhakta. Now, this is another myth. Every part of this is misunderstood. Homeless doesn't mean, acha, now Nilanjan, Deepraj, they've all left their homes and gone away. We are trying to be bhaktas. Naim has left his house and gone somewhere. He decided, I'm going to be a bhakta, I'm going to be homeless. Surely doesn't mean that, right? Why will he want everybody to leave their house and go away somewhere? Homeless means a sense of dispossession in possession. Like, suppose somebody comes to your house. Can you open the wardrobe and say, please help yourself, take whatever you want? Forget that. When we give a gift to somebody, we've given the gift. Then we want to know what that person has done with the gift. There are things they'll do whatever they want with. No, I gave the gift, I must know. Did you use it? Or did you just pass it on to the servant? What did you do with it? Holding on what you have given away. So, the capacity to have everything, to have all the best of everything, and not find yourself to be the possessor of everything. Possessor of everything means this is mine for me to enjoy. The opposite of that is I am a trustee of this. I have to take care of it. I have to serve it for general welfare. It is used for general welfare. It's not possession it is mine. I alone have the right to enjoy it. If you don't understand what that is, you talk to a man and see his wife's expression. You'll immediately understand what possession means. You know, if you're at a party, you see a man and a woman talking, you see the man's wife, how she is looking. So suspicious. They're at the party, why can't they have a conversation? So suspicious. That is called possession. I'm going to hold on. Not recognizing that nobody wants your husband. He is 5 foot tall. He has got a huge pot belly and no hair whatsoever, at least on his head. Why do you think people are chasing him? Nobody is chasing him. But this is mine. I have to put my jhanda over there. So the concept of homeless is the concept of being able to have everything in the world without putting my jhanda guard, jhanda guard on it, you put your own flag over there. That doesn't mean you allow everybody to come and do whatever they want with your things. No, you are a trustee. You are responsible for taking care of. You are to make sure they're well taken care of for the purpose that they are meant. So a young boy comes into your house. Young boy means a child comes to your house. Like our neighbor. He's the sweetest kid ever. He's so friendly. If you come and meet him, whoever he meets, he's so friendly. He treats everybody as if they're his best friend. So he's all full of enthusiasm and he loves everybody and he loves everything. And he rushes into the house. When he was a small child, he would rush. He'd escape from the neighbor's house and rush into our house and rush right to the end of our house. Like as if there's some sweet written over there for him. And obviously, as a child, you know what children love to do? They love to jump on the sofa. I don't know what is this thing that children have, this tendency to jump on the sofa. Our sofa is white. We do not want a young child running into the house and jumping on the sofa, right? That's not correct. So you have to do whatever it takes to keep him off the sofa and entertain him sufficiently that his desire to jump on the sofa is not manifesting in your house at least. So you have to take care of your things because that's your job. It doesn't mean that I'm not in possession. You people come and ruin my house. No, certainly not. Like Modi, for instance. The country is not his in the sense he can do whatever he wants with it. But he cannot allow anyone to treat our country badly. He's responsible. Similarly, you are responsible for what you have. People cannot treat it badly. But you do not treat it as this is mine for my enjoyment. So to be dispossessed amongst your possessions. People can use it, people can enjoy it, but nobody can spoil it. And there's a very clear line about what people can do and can't do. Very, very clear line. There's a saying in English. Good fences make good neighbors. If your boundaries aren't clear, you are going to get into a quarrel one day.
Sorry, Janki ji, could you please repeat that? Good
fences
make good.
Make good neighbors. Right? So homeless means a sense of dispossession. It doesn't mean getting rid of your possessions. Because please remember, the person who's claiming homelessness is who's telling us that homeless is such a great quality is a
King.
He's a prince, yeah. An heir to huge luxury. He's a prince of the land. I mean, now he may be playing the role of a charioteer, but he's the lord and master of his own realm. And he says homeless. So we have to understand what it means. It means dispossession, impossession. Homeless does not also mean the whole world is my home. It's the same idea, Mamita. Whole world is my home means I am responsible for this world. I am not using it as a mere method of only I should enjoy it and nobody else should have it. So the concept is the same, it's just different words.
Okay, Janki ji, thank you.
Steady mind. So far, so good. Any questions? Okay. Steady mind. What homeless means unselfish. Yes, it is Jaya Chandra. Yes, it is a concept of unselfishness, but the particular part of it referred to here is that you're not treating everything as a means to your personal satisfaction. It's the same attitude of service towards all things. So yes, it is a facet of selfishness, but it's a unselfishness, but it is a facet where you're dispossessed in your possession. You have everything, but you don't treat everything as if it is mine. You don't touch it. You know, children when they fight, this is my toy. You don't touch it. You don't have that kind of attitude. That doesn't mean you let anyone take your toys and break them. No. It's a very interesting idea to conceive that you are a trustee. It's your job to be responsible for it. But you don't treat it as yours alone. And nobody else has to enjoy this. Then, steady mind. Steady-minded. Steady-minded is a very, very strange quality because the nature of the mind is
Unsteady.
Yeah.
it's fickle. So how can a mind be steady? Stira matihi. Now this mati you can translate it. You can say mati is in the sense of opinion. You can take mati in the sense of intellect. You can take mati in the sense of mana. The root man becomes mati. So you can take it in various ways. In all ways it will be correct. Steady-minded, as in your mind being steady, is an impossible thing because the nature of the mind is to be fickle. But the mind does get steady when it is
Governed by intellect.
Guided by the intellect.
no, when is the mind steady?
When it's the goal. When it's concentrated on one thought.
When connected to higher energy.
When it is contented.
What is happening to you all? You all have all forgotten what is the portion we are studying. Who are we studying about?
Devotee.
Devotee. So his mind is steady because
It's
Focused
attached to
on
the
the
higher.
There's a divine goal.
hey, you people are such jnana yogis. You all are not thinking of bhakta only. Now we're doing bhakti. He loves the Lord. He is steady because of his attachment to the Lord. No goal at the moment. You can't talk of goal when you're talking of bhakta. We're talking about the mind being steady. When is the mind steady? The nature of the mind is to go all over the place. When is a mother's mind steady?
When she's with her child or looking after her child.
Looking after her child, her mind will not wander. The mind is steady when it loves something. When will Deepraj's mind become steady? You all know, right? Now it's wandering all in class and all is gone over all over. But when he meets a certain special someone, suddenly his mind will be steady. So how does the mind become steady? When it loves or when it's attached. The quality is the same. So why is the bhakta's mind steady? Because he loves the Lord. That is why some bhaktas or some emotional people, they don't like it. Suppose they're a bhakta of Ram, then they don't like it if you talk of, I don't know, Allah or Christ or something. They find it too much. Forget Allah and Christ. They don't like it if you talk. If they're a bhakta of Ram, they don't want to talk of Shiva also, or Devi also, or anything. Because they love it. They're in love with that thing, whatever that one thing. Sometimes it's so precise that they like only Ram. If you say Narayan, that is also not accepted. Or Krishna is also not accepted. And only Ram. So the concept of Ishta Devata. So when you love something, that is when the mind becomes steady with reference to it. So the mind becomes steady when it loves the Lord. When it loves some aspect of the higher, whatever it conceives. That's one way. The second way is the intellect is steady. That's the nature of the intellect. So how is the intellect steady? What is the wandering of the intellect? Some days discriminating on this, some days discriminating on that. One day is thinking, which is the best share to buy? One day it's thinking, which is the best holiday to go on? One day it's thinking, which is the best party to go to? Which Durga Puja should I go to? Nilanjan must be going nowadays to all the Durga Pujas in Calcutta. Which one to go to today? So the intellect thinks like that. I mean, it's analyzing. When does the intellect become steady? When it has
Your goal is clear.
When its goal is clear, correct. And that's working on its idea. When the intellect is steady, it's got only one discrimination: too ideal or not too ideal. That's its main discrimination. Otherwise, all the time it is doing all sorts of discrimination constantly. How is this person? How is that person? मैं क्या करूं how this person is or that person is? Okay, so steady-minded. When if you take mati in the sense of mind, it's steady because it loves the Lord. If you take it in the sense of intellect, then it's steady because it's fixed on what it is trying to do, what is its idea. Yeah, Bharat.
Yeah, so the steadiness of the intellect, wouldn't it depend on its discrimination on permanent and impermanent?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Means the intellect, what will it do? Its role is discrimination. So when it doesn't have an ideal in life, it will keep discriminating. Like now, which party shall I go to? Which is a better party to go to? Which is a better investment to me? Which is a better movie to see? Constantly. It's always differentiating, right? Which is the whatever. Give me some discrimination. Which dish shall I have for lunch? It's constantly making a discrimination. Which shirt shall I wear today? Who shall I call today? It's constantly making this discrimination, and it's all the time choosing between two things. But when it has an ideal, so one thing is fixed. So therefore, everything is only in comparison to that. Yeah?
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Naini.
Yeah, Ankiji, when you mentioned that somebody loves Ram and he's in love, and then he feels uncomfortable when you speak of some other god, isn't that a kind of possessive love? Isn't that just attachment? Because if you have raga towards something, you naturally have dvesha towards something else. So people who claim this kind of bhakti or this kind of love towards Allah or Ram are just very narrow, and it's actually raga, it's actually attachment, Ankiji, rather than being love.
Yes, it is. But now people are what they are. So one kya kare? But the thing is, we have to recognize the principles involved. We have got no view. You want to be possessive, be no, mera kya kata hai. But the principle involved is, when does the mind become steady? When it falls in love. That's the principle. Now, you want to call it love or attachment, the stickiness aspect is the same. So if what is his name, Romeo, you wake him up in the middle of the night and say, who would you like to meet? What will he say? His mind is sticky, right? It's one stuck over there. So similarly, you wake up a bhakta in the middle of the night and say, who's your God? He's going to take that name only. He's not going to take any other name. Now, we need not call them narrow. This is the way the cookie crumbles. There are many people who will reach realization through their Ishtadevata. I mean, it's not necessary that they should say all are the same. We say all are the same because we understand the principle involved. As far as they are concerned, they will say, no, this God is the best God in the world. And you say, yes, I bow down to that God, whoever you according to you is the best God. Because हमारे लिए क्या है, एक ही बात है. Okay, so we understand principles, but to expect everybody understanding, no way. So when you are with a Muslim, you do namaz. When you are with a Bengali, you do Durga Puja. जो जैसे है वो ठीक है, कुछ भी चलेगा हम लोगों के लिए. Because for us, we are relating everything to the self, right? To Brahman, to Atman, whatever you think of. So yes, you're right, it is attachment, but if you use that attachment correctly, that can also take you to the Lord.
The reason I said that, Janki, is because I feel that a lot of the communal hatred is because of this attachment. It's like children of a mother claiming that the mother loves them the most. Whereas the mature child understands that the mother loves all her children equally.
Yeah. So yes, you are right. I mean, obviously, I understand where you're coming from, given the state of the matters in this world today. But the thing is, it is being misdirected. In itself, there's nothing wrong in it. It is the misdirection. It is the total absence of intellect, the total absence of understanding that is causing the problem. In itself, what is the problem? See, if I say I worship Allah and you say you worship Vishnu, so why can't we be friends? Everything about us is different, right? You live in Bangalore, I live in Mumbai. What? So what? You are, I don't know, you are into IT. What are you into? I forgot, sorry.
Teaching.
What do you teach?
Spoken English, public speaking.
Okay. So you're into spoken English and public speaking. I'm into, I don't know, teaching Hindi, let us say. So why can't we be friends? You see, all this is immaterial. The problem is always the misdirection and the absolute lack of intellect. And it's not like you like you like gobi and I like carrot, and therefore we don't like each other. It doesn't work like this, no? I mean, assuming you have some minimal intellect. So liking in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with it. The problem, all this communal nonsense and all sorts of wars, every bit of it is not that. It is the absence of intellect more than the loving of something. Like anyone, right? Any one of us also, when we read this beautiful literature about anybody talking about their God or their understanding, and the whole world loves Khalil Gibran. Whoever has read Manache Shlok will appreciate it. So who that person is calling their Ishtadevata never matters to the rest of us. Ishtadevata means, you know what Ishtadevata, your favorite God, your God, the God of your heart. That's not a problem. But yes, I understand your point. It's causing so much trouble that we feel like just take all these gods and throw them in the sea. That's one way of doing it. Or you take the Indian way. Take every god and say it's an avatar of Vishnu. That is what Indians do. Any god. Oh, you're a believer in Christ. Christ is an avatar of Vishnu. You know, everybody becomes avatar of Vishnu. Oh, you're a Buddhist. Oh, Buddha is an avatar of Vishnu. Well, that's the Indian way. Like, everything is ours or nothing is ours. So both ways comes to the same way.
Thank you.
Okay, so to whom censure and praise are equal.
So, Janki ji,
Yeah.
so that means even the form worshipper of one particular form, even they attain self-realization.
Of course. That's why those forms are given to us, no? And that's why, has Vedanta ever told you that whichever god you're worshipping, don't worship and worship some other god? Never, because any
But
god-
they feel upset or they dislike other forms. Then isn't that some sort of a...
it's not that they dislike other forms. It is, I mean, suppose you say, I love man X. That doesn't mean you dislike man B, right? You happen to like this person, you will marry this person, you will live happily ever after. What's the problem? The problem arises when people start saying, I like X, and all discrimination fades after that. That's where the problem is.
Sorry, all discrimination fades in the sense?
Like, I like Vishnu, so let me worship Vishnu. Then now I'll say, I like Vishnu, you're worshipping Shiva, you're a horrible person. But why? I mean, based on you worshipping Shiva, how do you become a horrible person or good person or anything? It's not who you worship, it's what you do that makes you good or bad. What are your actions? What is your character that makes you good or bad? Not what is the name of your God. Even if you don't have a God, you can be a good person. You have a God, you don't have a God, all this is immaterial.
So, like a Joan of Arc, if she actually feels like God is telling her to attack the other country, I mean, I'm not very sure about the story, but
no, she didn't attack, she defended.
She defended. Okay.
God told her, according to her, the voices told her that she should save France from Britain. So God is anything higher. Generally, it's not so precise for people. They are not all doing Vedanta and defining all these terms. Whatever higher thought it is, whatever unknown it is, everything is one lumped in one basket called God.
Okay. So then she also is, I mean, could be a symbol of, could be a self-realized person because
she's definitely a developed person. Self-realized, I don't know, but who will do this, right?
Right. Okay.
Taking up an ideal like that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Mahesh, if attachment is an indiscriminate flow of thought, then how do we describe the bhakta's attachment to the Lord? Attachment is an indiscriminate thought flow, but that thought flow has to be directed by the intellect. Insofar as I love Shiva doesn't mean if you love Vishnu, I have to hate you. I mean, some basic common sense at least has to be applied here. So attachment is an indiscriminate thought flow, and that is the bhakta. He loves the Lord, he thinks about the Lord, he'll think about the Lord, he'll be singing and he'll be dancing and he's having a good time. So let him have a good time. Why we got to go to him and say, no, how can you behave like this? In his house, he's singing and dancing and remembering the Lord. Good for him. At least his thoughts are going to the higher. So indiscriminate means now he's come to your door and he started saying, I love Vishnu, you must also love Vishnu. Or I love Krishna, you must also love Krishna. And if you don't love Krishna, I'm going to kill you. Are pagal hai kya? All this is called indiscriminate. Indiscriminate means your intellect is not functioning at all. Okay, Mahesh?
Yeah, I mean, so since the bhakta loves Krishna and he does not go around telling everyone to not love anything else, that's indiscriminate.
Any indiscriminate action he takes, even if he starts playing Krishna bhajans in the middle of the night loudly, it's still indiscriminate action. Any indiscriminate action.
But his attachment to the Lord is indiscriminate itself, right? In the first place.
Love has to be, what is discriminate in love? Love is an emotion. Where is the question of discrimination?
So we call it attachment to the Lord, so there's an indiscriminate element in it.
It
So I
is
was just wondering.
indiscriminate. The emotion is always indiscriminate. It needs the intellect to guide that emotion. Now, in the case of the bhakta, yes, that emotion should not make him do anything particularly ridiculous. And it could be anything. It could be killing the neighbor. It could be playing loud music at night. It could be standing on the street and catching hold of everybody and saying, "You must worship this Lord." Any indiscriminate action.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there are a lot of questions. Pravesh, will take yours next time. Chandran, let me finish. Or even all of us having sufficient essentials, we can't overcome attachment or desire. No, this sentence cannot be correct, because if you have enough cause, you will have enough effect. If it's sufficient, that means you overcame desire. So if you didn't overcome desire, that means it's not sufficient. So, lage raho munna bhai. We have to just keep doing it. Just do more. Okay, so